and plan for the next workshop, right? So before we do we have anyone new with us today, or
Yes, I'd like to introduce John Caltas, who's on the call today for the first time today, and he's going to be helping out with business process modeling. He works with Mike Barnett, who also just joined. So I just wanted to introduce John. He is it's his first call, I believe.
Hello, John. Welcome.
Morning, everyone. It's Mike.
Hey, Mike. So, sorry, Pat.
Yeah. So, would anybody like to share a safety moment, well-being moment, or? No, I can do one. That's okay. So here in the UK, and I think all over the world, actually, we're seeing a great surge in COVID cases. But it comes at a point where everybody's really, really tired of, the whole staying at home, not going for work, working from home. For those of you who can work from home type of regime. Just in general, and it can put add a lot of stress to our lives. So we have been sharing amongst ourselves some resources, and I will share with you a link that someone from our team shared with us earlier today on just some random nice activities that you can do just to keep your day to do something new every day. I will share this link on the chat, and it's called, I can't, it says I can't share anything on the chat.
I'm not sure why that would be, but...
Okay, so it's called, I think it's the Actions for Happiness. And it has a happy January calendar. I will show my screen.
Okay.
With you so you can see it. And it's just some tips of things.
Yeah, we can see it. Jenny. Yeah.
So I'll share the link on the notes for this meeting, but it's basically an action calendar. It gives you one different activity every day, just so you have something different to look forward to. So for example, today is connect with someone near you, share a smile or a chat, anything. And it's interesting because I saw that this morning and I actually done it. I reached out to someone that I haven't spoken to in a while, and they responded, "Oh, that's nice to hear from you." It made it gave me a smile. So yeah, just interesting things when you're feeling a bit down. Just make sure you do something and make sure you go out for a walk. And if your lockdown restrictions or quarantine restrictions allows you to do that, of course. I've been finding that just going out for walks helps a lot. Helps greatly. Okay, so with regards to just refreshing the outputs from our December workshop, we have the link to our mural that you all can access, and everything that we did and talked about is still in there. But we found there was a lot of interesting outputs. And there are a couple of things that came up a lot. So digital transformation and making the case for digital transformation to senior leadership. So we were discussing it, Rich and I, and we thought of asking, does it make sense? Do we want to input some effort into just using those outputs to put together sort of a very quick 2-page, something like that, business case for digital transition. So something that you can bring to your management and say, this is the recommendation coming out of the UAIM or UAIM AMP group. I don't know how we would frame this. So I guess I'll divert this question to Cello and Scott, whether this is something that we can do in the name of UAIM, and whether this is something that we want to do, and whether this is the topic to put effort in.
It would seem like that would be valuable to have here's the value proposition for doing this, accompanying all the other good work that was done here and your presentation and everything. I think that would be useful, and then maybe we'll get into Cello, with John and Mike, just the idea of documenting the process.
Yes. Yeah, a couple of things. I think it would be really good. We do have a mechanism for project members to post different artifacts, and we do have a bunch of artifacts that have been posted already that others have found very useful. For example, Portland Water posted and Metro Vancouver posted a number of organizations. So I think that this would be an excellent artifact to be contributed to that space, and that people could then see and use in their organization if if they need to. So that I think would be very much in line with what our intentions are and practices. I see Mike Fernandez's hands up.
Yeah, just a comment there. We've seen that in decision management and business process management, that especially the pandemic has caused a rather intense focus on automation and digital transformation. It's in fact been quite accelerated because of the pandemic. So I think it's very topical. It's right on target and appropriate for UAIM.
Yeah, and we did get a lot of interest from utilities in these digital asset management plans.
Yeah. So is this something that we can do collaboratively? I'm happy to put together a first draft and then share with you, or how would we want to go about this?
Yeah,
I think if you have one that's existing, that would be great to start with. If you have one that you could draft, that would be also great. And I think what we can do is in one of the future calls, we could have an interactive session. And, we could tell people when it's posted, and then have an interactive session for collecting comments and suggestions and stuff like that.
Okay. And then.
and Doug isn't on the call today, but I think doing something similar on the topic that he presented on, would be useful as well, just so we have good documentation, and that we update, business processes accordingly too. Yeah.
So how do we want to call? I don't remember the name of his presentation.
Scott, did you say that Doug had a business case for?
Well, didn't he present? Maybe I'm getting my groups mixed up, but didn't he present at this group? Yes.
He did.
Yes, and it was on metrics.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
just put metrics, and he'll know what you're talking about.
Okay. We'll reach out to him and see how that goes.
So much sharing going on now that.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that anyone would like to comment on, ask? Are there any, stones unturned that we want to look at? Any questions, outstanding questions from the last? Because if not,
Yeah.
I'll jump to the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be really useful. And I think that also, I heard today that the deadline for our draft report for the project got moved from May to March 31st. So what would be really good is if this would be a nice deliverable to include in the, as part of the nice addition to the project deliverables. And
So what's the name of that?
That our schedule has been a little bit accelerated, so and this would be a nice addition.
But what's the name of the report? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
It's just a report to WRF for this phase of the project. To Water Research Foundation is now due March 31st instead of in May. So it'll be nice to include this in the report.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so moving on to the next topic we have here. Sorry for the back and forth. We just put everything on the same document. So agree on the next workshop. So the other two topics that we had most votes on were life cycle modeling and life cycle costs, or asset criticality and prioritization. So I would like to open the question to you on which one you would like to see first. They were pretty tight in terms of votes. So we got 5, actually pretty tight. We're 100% tied. So 5 votes for each. So what do we want to look at in 2 weeks from now? Is it life cycle modeling and life cycle costs, or asset criticality and prioritization?
And who's going to do it, right?
Yeah, that's the following question.
This is Brittany with Loud and Water. I personally would love to see life cycle modeling and life cycle cost. We're in the very beginning phases of developing our AMPs, and our first phase is doing life cycle modeling of our assets. So I would love to get more information as we step into that. So I think the timing would be great for me personally.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
Any other ideas or thoughts? One thing that would be very helpful is, if this is a chosen topic, if utilities have currently some artifacts that they could share that are related to this topic and post them, I think that would be very useful. If you'd like to know where to post, let me know. Just send me an email if you have any doubt, then I can show you where to, where the folders are. They're organized with respect to different participating utilities. Something like something that you may be using already and you wanted to share with others.
So who has something that they would be able to share on life cycle modeling and life cycle costs?
We probably have something that we can share. Sure.
So Patricia, Brittany, did you have anything that you wanted to share?
No, not at this point, unfortunately. Just starting the process. So I just have the outline of what we're expected to do or start to look at. That's it.
Yeah. Hey, Jody, what about you? Do you have some material that you would want to share?
I don't think I have good data for this particular topic.
Okay.
Well, this is Chris from Metro Vancouver. We're doing some replacement cost projects with consultants. I mean, it's not close to the finish line yet, but at least I can share some of the methodology that we chose to develop the cost models for linear and vertical assets.
Excellent. That'd be excellent. Yes.
And this was we could check with Doug also, because I think this might have been something that he was kind of favoring as a topic. So if we had, Chris and we had Pat and potentially Doug, that would be plenty to share. And, just a question, Patricia, it worked so well with, depending on how much time there is, the use of Mural worked so well when you guys did it, that just wondering if that's a possibility to have you, do that, towards the end like you did with, digital amps, because that was pretty spectacular how quickly you were able to do it.
It's actually one of the questions we have here. Do we want to use that again? Did we like that? Because if we did, we're happy to do it again. And irrespective of who's leading the workshop. So is it okay to say we're set on life cycle modeling and costs for the next?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, we can definitely use Mural to facilitate it. And in terms of who leads, do we want to get 3 people to present what they have?
Yeah, do that, and then the Mural summary, like you did before. Or if it turns out to be 2, like if Doug doesn't have anything, 2 presentations is definitely enough, right? And Patricia, a question is, do we want to do it for an hour, or do we want to, if we had 3, would we want to do it for an hour and a half? Just throwing that out there,
right.
But.
Shall we look at contents?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at what we want to see in terms of life cycle modeling, which I'm afraid we have been so busy lately that we didn't get a chance to set anything up in advance. So I can talk from Team 300's perspective. And by the way, on the 26th, we will be coming out of a 2-hour workshop on life cycle modeling. Sorry, Rebecca, who's also on this group and is going to have to look at life cycle modeling twice. So we have a model that was developed over a number of projects. So it started as a look at how assets deteriorate. So it started as a asset deterioration study, looking at also how maintenance affects asset deterioration. And then we used that as a basis to build our life cycle model. So it is basically a tool developed on Python that we just have a set of inputs that we feed into the tool, and out of that we get sort of like whole life costs, and then we can either set the inputs in a way that we test different scenarios to understand what is the most optimal asset management approach to that cohort portfolio of assets that we're assessing, or we can give it some specific sort of constraints to the model and then understand how they impact our whole life costs and things like that. Of course, it is all dependent on how good your inputs are, but in any way, no model will give you an exact answer. It will be basically a decision supporting tool. So what we could do is take you through how that model works, what types of inputs we give to the model, which are not necessarily specific to the types of assets. We can talk about them in a very general way. But I guess my question is how much interested you are in the actual tool, or do we want to look at broader how life cycle modeling works, what you want to look at, and what are the variables that go into it? What is of interest to the other utilities? That's the question.
Comments, anybody? It all sounds great, Patricia, everything you said.
Okay.
Because it's a lot. So we might want to just,
Yeah.
you know, what provides more value? Is anyone doing life cycle modeling? Or do you just want to know where to start? What are the main questions? Jonathan has his hand up.
Yeah, I think what would be most interesting for me from Tacoma Water's perspective is more complex assets. So I'm thinking of like a pump station, pressure releasing valve type things where you kind of have assets within assets. And how do you life cycle model that? Because you don't necessarily replace the whole thing. At end of life, there's components to it. We have a fairly robust distribution mains model with asset life cycles and stuff, but those are easy, because it's just in the ground until you need to replace it pretty much. So that's from our perspective, I think would be useful.
Were you interested in presenting on this, Jonathan?
I'm happy to present our economic model if there's an interest there, but I think we've had that or similar things in the past. I think Portland presented something very similar. So.
Yep.
Anyone else?
Chris, what about yourself? What would you want to be covering?
I mean, as I mentioned, the focus of our consulting assignments are the replacement cost, which is basically front and then end of that life cycle. But in terms of, I mean, what Patricia described about, the deterioration curve is a big interest of me because, I mean, we're using like agent for condition scoring for many of our assets. And to understand the how assets deteriorate over time, that can dictate how we sort of set up the bands. Because right now we're setting up like linear fashions, but I'm sure it's not linearly deteriorating in terms of different types of asset. I mean, I've seen some example like J curve, reverse J, and others, but it'll be interesting to see how Team 2100s are approaching with respect to that matter.
Yep.
This is Brittany with Loud & Water again. Another question that we have is the life cycle data quality, going through and gathering all of the data and then determining if there's any kind of like data cleanup that's required and types of procedures that are implemented to clean up the data to make sure the life cycling is accurate.
Good. Then maybe put in there, was it economic model? I think that might have been Tacoma, but it's actually being able to communicate it with decision making too.
Okay.
This is Jody from GLWA. One other area that I'd be interested in is kind of this life cycle modeling at the onset of design or during design. How other organizations are doing that to optimize the design.
Yeah. We have a life cycle model appraisal tool in Team 2100 and sort of like system life cycle model. So one is at the asset level and the other one is at the portfolio level. So the appraisal one we use at actually prior to design to actually pursue what type of design, sort of a, not metrics, but what will guide your design to make sure you're designing for the optimized asset management approach. Okay, that's I think it's a good set of things to look at. So we can give you an overview of our tool and go into those topics. So with regards to, just so I know who to talk to. So an economic model, do I talk to, is that Jonathan or is that Chris?
This is Jonathan. Yeah, I would be the person to talk to.
Okay. And then Chris, what can you present? Sorry, I don't think I might be missing something. Chris, you're on mute if you're speaking.
Oh, I was about to speak. So yeah, economic model. I mean, again, it's a replacement cost work that we're doing that I can share our approach. We don't have the outcomes yet, but at least the methodology that we're using, I can share with the group.
Okay. And then lifecycle modeling during design, we can do that. Data quality. Would anybody like to speak about any of these other topics? If not, I'm sure we can speak about all of them. I have to check on complex assets because we don't have that built into our tool just yet. We are modeling mostly simple assets, but it is in our plan to develop the tool for the MICA assets, basically, and assets that have elements that sometimes you have to look at specific elements to them. So I can check with our team if there's something there that we can share with the group. I can't promise on this one, unfortunately. If anyone can, please raise your hands, volunteer, because I'm not sure.
Yeah, we could reach out to Doug also, because I think he's dealing with deterioration curves. He's dealing with some modeling that they're doing on through the condition assessment lens, those kind of things. And there are industry deterioration curves, Georgia Tech, WEF, and others are heavy into use of models for deterioration curves.
Okay, so
and he's pretty aware of that. So maybe even trying to get him to focus on some of that might be useful. But
I think this gives us a good set of things to walk through, and it's 1, 2, 3, 6 topics. So does that mean we want to have 1 hour and a half, and can we have a 1 hour and a half?
We can definitely do it if people are up for it. We should survey people because people are very busy also on their regular day jobs. So we should probably, get some feedback from people on that on this call.
Patricia, if I understand correctly, you were not able to start the meeting earlier because you have a conflicting meeting. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm afraid so, yes. I'll be coming out of a 2-hour workshop on lifecycle modeling on the 26th, so... Okay,
yeah. So we can send a survey and see if... we don't have everybody on the call today, but we can send out a survey. Is there somebody that knows already that they would not be able to add another 30 minutes on that date? If you want to raise your hand. Okay, well, it seems like we may be okay, but
maybe just do it, Cello, and if people have to leave early, they have to leave early,
okay.
Because no one's objecting to it, on the call at least, so.
Yeah, if we hurry up, we can say it's unanimous.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Yes, I will do that. I'll do that right now.
Okay. All right. And so I will liaise with the people that volunteered and those that didn't volunteer, but we volunteered for them. So yeah, we had data quality improvements already, systems integration. I'll build that into it, and change culture. We can also talk about that. I guess.
So Patricia, I think one option that people would probably feel comfortable with is that, you kind of coordinate the workshop as well, but you may not want to do that, and you graciously kind of volunteered that if anybody wants to do that, they sure can do it. So,
Yes, please.
I don't know, maybe you want to kind of talk about that.
No, yeah, I would very much like to open for other people to lead the workshop if they want to. I do get a feeling that Doug was one that might, but if others are
Happy
interested.
to. Chris is experienced at doing this as well. I don't know how you feel about that, Chris, but that's another possibility.
It's a possibility, yes.
Chris,
I'm just curious about the number of presentations that we're planning to do on the 26th. I feel, I don't know, maybe like there are 3 to 4 or 2 to 3. Am I looking? So maybe it's a bit much. I don't know how much time we'll get for each topic, but
yeah, if there were 15 minutes for each presentation, and then a half hour to go through mural exercise that like we did before, that probably could work, Chris, with an hour and a half. It's just can we communicate the content in 15 minutes?
What may not be a bad idea is this is 2 weeks from now, so we can set up a call with Patricia and Scott, and with Chris and Jonathan and Doug, and plan this maybe later this week or early, sometime this week. And we may also look at using additional tools like Mentimeter to get instant feedback and stuff like that. So I will send out a doodle poll to the usual suspects here, and let me know right now. Raise your hand if you'd like to be part of the planning, because we want to get everybody's ideas who wants to contribute.
Yeah, so it could be later this week, or leave a Monday, Tuesday of next week as another option as well.
Yes, I will. Let me look at this. Somebody.
So Jonathan, I think, had his hand up. Right?
Oh, Jenny.
Or Jenny.
Yes, I will. So I will send a note to Jonathan, Patricia, Chris, and Jenny and Scott, and try to find a time when everybody's available, either this, like a doodle poll.
Yeah. Okay. That works. In the meantime, I'll see if I can put something together to give us a head start in terms of talking through how we would go about this, what to look at in each section. Not getting too much into other people's sections, because I wouldn't really know. But yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. And to be honest, that's all I had for today. So unless anyone else has any questions or anything you want to raise.
I have a pitch that I want to make, and then I think it'll be really. I'm sure everybody will appreciate it. We're gonna take 30 minutes from them 2 weeks from now, so we can maybe give them a few minutes back this week. If anybody needs assistance with business process modeling, please let us know, Mike Barnett and John and myself. And because documenting the processes is really the first step and an important distinction that our project has. This effort is to include the business process modeling. So just let us know, because we're very keen, and both Mike and John are really good at helping people spin up their skills and providing them with guidelines and help and review their models and stuff like that. So we should take advantage of them. I've known Mike for almost 40 years. I've been taking advantage of him for 40 years, and it works really well. I encourage everybody else to do it also.
I do have a question. Are there any general guidelines or any examples that might be good for us to look at?
Absolutely. Let me just find, and I'll put the link in the there are guidelines for business process modeling. They're posted to OneDrive, and I will. You guys can continue. I'm just looking for the link. So you guys can continue. Okay.
I don't have anything else to add today.
Oh, okay, give me just a second.
Hey, Jenny, thanks for posting that Action for Happiness. And just looking at that calendar, I noticed there was one item on there that was pick a different route, like to go to work or something. But we're at home, so are we talking about a different route to go from the bedroom to the computer, or what? You know, it's but I really like the idea that you have. I mean, that's something proactive that people can do.
I just posted the link to the guidelines for business process modeling. If for some reason it doesn't work, there it is again. If it doesn't work, just let me know. It's also available via Microsoft Teams, but and there are also case studies that show examples of how different utilities have done business process modeling under this project. At least 6 or 8, I don't know how many, but we have a number of case studies that provide examples. So that's all I had, and just quickly around, if anybody has any more questions or comments.
Nothing.